Uh, hey. So I was going to be making a few sandwiches for my dad's lunch this week. I decided I might as well just do them all at once, because I'm just going to use the same shit, so just make them now, all at once. Figured I might as well record a video while I'm doing it, I guess. But I was probably going to talk about something. I don't have the tripod this time just because, man, the audio really sucked in that last one. Just because I guess when the tripod is not, or the phone or whatever is not close to a solid surface in some way, then the microphone probably doesn't get much of the sound reverberations or whatever the hell. So it seems like it had way better audio when it was just kind of like propped up against the wall like this. Either way, and I just didn't really feel like taking the tripod out anyway. But yeah, the audio kind of sucked on that last one. I even had to do I had to amplify it a fair bit, and it still wasn't that loud or whatever. Yeah. Um, but I was probably going to talk about something. Um, but I just listened while I was cleaning up and sweeping and cleaning the counters and everything before I started doing this. I was listening to Billy's video he just released about the DSS shit, and I figure maybe I'll try and talk about that somewhat while I'm doing this. Um, I don't know how much I'll be really able to add. So my let's see. So in my case, my parents, they are still together. So me and my brother never had to deal with any kind of bullshit like child support or whatever you want to call that, child support or child protective services, or in that case, the Department of Social Services or whatever. It's funny with these. It's hilarious with these departments and stuff that. It's funny with these departments and stuff that anytime it is some kind of like some department that is supposed to be there for that's how you do it. Some quote unquote department that's supposed to be there for social services or some kind of like say like human HR, like human resources and stuff like that. And now this is not saying this as some like matter of fact or whatever, but these kind of obviously the way that women are, they're considered more social generally than men or whatever. So you'll see that a lot of these social workers and stuff, they will often be women, as Billy mentioned, that many of the social workers he's dealt with or that he's seen and stuff are usually women. And the same can be said for these other things like what do you call it? Like I said, HR and shit. So it's like it kind of makes sense in a sick way that there would be so much corruption. There'd be so much corruption kind of stuff that goes on within these DSS workers and shit like that. Because women love to power trip on shit like that. At least modern women love to do that because less modern women might not have been brainwashed as much potentially, or women that aren't directly within like whatever these kind of modern Western societies, whatever you want to call it. Even though it doesn't, uh, every place has been, what would you call it, taken over or whatever by the Western society kind of complex or whatever you want to say. But but they care about that. Well, I mean, I guess as Rudy would probably say, even women in those supposedly like traditional family roles or whatever the fuck you want to call it, even they um, would be would have their own kind of like matriarchal grasp on like a lot of these people or whatever. So it's not too surprising, I guess, that these social workers and these specific departments within the fucking government, especially, are like this, and are just rife with corruption and shit. Um, and I was gonna cut them up pickles or something, but I don't feel like cutting up the stupid spear pickles. Fuck that. Alright, let's see how well this folds. But it's no surprise that these departments are rife with corruption and like power fucking bullshit, weird power dynamic bullshit, and stuff like, and as you said, like childish, immature behavior. Like they get a thrill out of invading, or they get a thrill out of pushing themselves into people's lives and asserting some fake power given to them by these government bodies, to this fake authority and power given to these government bodies to interfere with people's lives. And as you said, like, especially some of them, like they come from not high social status or whatever, or their looks and stuff would make them not, like, especially the women, their looks would make them not considered like high status or whatever in society by most people. So they look at that ability to interfere with people's lives as some way to kind of get back at the fact that they resent the fact that they are of lower class or lower social status, whatever, for various reasons. You have to wonder how these fucking creatures get into these places in the first place. Like, obviously, a lot of it, I'm sure, is a lot of nepotism, probably children of police officers and shit like that, or relatives of police officers, kind of shit. Okay, a lot of foil for a sandwich, but it's kind of hard to know exactly how much you'll need and still be able to cover the entire thing. But you have to wonder how these creatures initially even get into these stupid positions at these government jobs and stuff. I can only assume that, on a sort of like not no frequency level or whatever, they were just kind of like preordained to become those kind of things and to get into those kind of positions of quote unquote, like, power, authority, not really, like fake authority, but as you're saying, Billy, that most people would go on the side of these social workers in any kind of like argument, like against them or whatever, because they're brainwashed to think that, oh yeah, well, they're there just to help people, and if somebody's being, whatever you want to call, harassed, persecuted, invaded by them in some way, then they just did wrong, and they deserve whatever they. Seems like a lot, but fuck it. I think that's, I guess, 3 or 4 will work. Pretty thick slices, so it's kind of hard to portion it differently, I guess, but that's what happens when you get a kind of free cut like that. Instead of waiting online and asking for thinner slices, but yeah, like when I got a job at the stupid school system, working in the the kitchen or whatever for like a few months that I worked there, like the main reason I got in there was because my mom had worked in the system for like 10 years beforehand or whatever, probably long, yeah, probably about that, maybe longer. But she worked as a in the cafeteria as well, so I was able to probably get more of a recommendation to do that. And it was just it was funny just how much like other crap they had to go through, like fucking you had to do like a physical and stuff, like had to do like a physical to make sure, yeah, that you're not gonna get other people sick or some dumb shit like that. You had to even get written recommendations from like at least two people or some stupid shit. And I was just like, man, how fucking retarded is that? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure that's probably all these government jobs. You have to do that kind of crap, but kind of it's like it's a fucking joke. It's once again just like more nepotistic junk. You know, who knows um, who knows who, and who's been with who or whatever the fuck. Who scratched one person's back before and stuff like that. Um, and I'd almost guarantee 100% that's exactly how these Department of Social Services jobs or whatever you want to call it work, where these people somehow get hired even as these like sociopathic fucking people. And if anything, similar to managers in a lot of places and shit, they would actually prefer these kind of like sociopathic or like antisocial um, characteristics be displayed, because I'm sure that's like kind of by the download or whatever you want to say. That's definitely more what they are looking for. That's the kind of characteristics they're looking for within these departments and shit. They don't want well just like cops. They don't want well adjusted, like mature and strong people. They want weak, insecure, antisocial or whatever sociopathic people, because that's the perfect. Even though they if you put them on a lie detector, they wouldn't say that stuff. They wouldn't be like, we're specific. Obviously, they wouldn't say that we're hiring because we want sociopaths or whatever. It's just like part of the script or download or whatever. That those kind of people are the preferred minions to be used as the kind of Gestapo or whatever you want to say. These people that are there to purposely hurt and break apart families and shit. I mean, I remember as a kind of an example, my uncle. What was it? Because he has an ex-wife. He has an ex-wife, and when that all occurred and they got divorced and stuff, she went out of her way to do the whole child support thing. And you know what's fucked up? I mean, it's not really fucked up or surprising, but it's like, just kind of like matter of fact. I'm sure that's how it works out. As soon as whatever happens in these courts or whatever, and probably even before like any of the legal proceeds happen and shit like that, I'm sure that these, like, I don't know exactly how the divorce process works myself, but I'm sure that as soon as like the paperwork even starts getting written and shit, and stuff starts getting like filed and sent and shit, I'm sure that they have like these fucking social departments and stuff like DSS and stuff on speed dial, and they're just there like vultures, just waiting for the inevitable opportunity to try to uh, manipulate the woman in the situation, uh, basically telling her exactly what they told your wife, because your wife Billy is obviously very dumb and ignorant, but you know, I'm sure, as you said, she was told like right away, like basically quote unquote educated on how the system works, and how she is favored um, she is favored in the system, and basically how the system can help her to take advantage of the situation, in essence. Like, basically, you know, as you know, them manipulating her stupidity and her ignorance and her greed to and her sloth or whatever, to get her on their side right away, and start working with them, so then they can all collectively fuck with the husband or whatever, the most vulnerable party or whatever in this case. I will have more. Yeah, so I'll start toasting that. I mean, it's just like with you know, the idea of like whatever ambulance chasers or whatever. Like, you just got people that are there just people that are there just from the beginning, waiting to opportunists, just opportunists waiting to strike at all times. And it's funny because, I mean, as you said, these DSS workers, they have like, or whatever, these DSS workers and shit, I don't know if they get like bonuses or whatever the fuck, but they obviously get some kind of fairly decent incentive outside of just their sociopathic tendencies. You know, the sick thrill of that or whatever. They obviously get some kind of bonus or some bullshit for doing what they do, and getting more and more cases into their, you know, whatever their work orders or whatever the fuck the term would be for them, their cases. So, you know, right away the system incentivizing. I think it's the same thing I remember in I remember that one girl that I went out with for a little while. She mentioned that or some shit, like she went out with maybe she went out with a cop or some bullshit. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. What is this? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I'll do. Wait a minute. I don't need you. Oh. Did I say something? I don't know. He told me I don't need to die with you. Oh, no, I'm talking on the phone or whatever, camera. Sorry, yeah. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I guess I'll make some of those a little thinner, fuck it. And couldn't really tell how many slices there were easily. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that it was like these, at least in New York, she was talking about, because she lived in Staten Island or whatever. something, she got pulled over, I think, or something like that. She got pulled over, and they basically just, like, she wasn't even on her phone or something. She didn't even have her phone out. This is what she said. I don't know why she would be lying to me specifically about this, like, to bring it up. So I'm just gonna imagine she's not lying or some dumb shit. But they pulled her over, and then they said she was like on her phone, like texting on her phone or some shit. And then they gave her a ticket. And I don't know if she talked to like her cop friend or some shit. And then he told her, oh yeah, like in New York or something like that, or some of these departments they have like weekly or monthly or some kind of quotas that they are incentivized to fill for, like, you know, how many tickets that they gave out and shit, and how many I don't know, but probably not how many arrests, possibly, or how many things, but like at least tickets, like how many tickets they gave out and shit. And, you know, obviously just how fucked up that concept is, like, purposely purposely being rewarded for having, quote unquote, more crime or whatever, like, in essence, doing, like, when you think about it, supposedly doing your job worse is doing your job worse and not actually fixing, like, crime or whatever. That is actually that is rewarded, instead of like, you know, they should be, if it made sense and it wasn't clearly there to be a fucked up system, they should be rewarded for having less tickets and less like crime on record and stuff, because that would mean that they're doing their job right or whatever. I mean, yeah, obviously it's hard to tell the people that are, quote unquote, enforcing the law if it's hard to tell if they'd be just, you know, they would just purposely not give out tickets because they're like, hey, well, it makes us look better or whatever. But either way, like, that just shows how fucked the entire system is. If that's like how it works, is yeah, incentivized to you are incentivized to make it seem like there's more going wrong than there really is, or whatever, that there's more people committing, quote unquote, crimes than there really are. And that's, I think, pretty much all of these government bodies. So, I mean, like, that's the thing, is that I guess, like, not every government body would really have the capacity to do that kind of stuff, but I'm sure the way that, you know, like, the reality works or whatever is that somehow, like, even something as seemingly, like, how could that be on purpose? Like, say, the DMV being, like, very slow and difficult to deal with. Like, I'm sure that kind of stuff is purposely done to it's purposely done. Like, it's not an accident that the that the DMV is very slow and not enjoyable to of a process to go through. Wow, this toaster sucks. It is so fucking inconsistent. Like, you'll toast it. This fucking Cuisinart toaster sucks ass. You'll toast it for like 4 minutes, and then you do another one with like 4 minutes or whatever the numbers mean. And one will be like burnt, and then the other will be like barely toasted or whatever. It's fucking, this thing is fucking shit. I mean, it does toast, but it's just the timings are all fucked. Um, yeah, I mean, you could probably just think of like almost any government body or whatever. I think that can go another pass. You can almost think of like any government body, really, or a government service or whatever the fuck you want to say. Probably has the same kind of fucking bullshit. They obviously all have nepotism in some way. They obviously all have corruption in some way. Just some are more than others. Like with the DSS and stuff, it obviously would prefer people that are very very fucked in the head and and likely characters to abuse their quote unquote fake power and stuff. How burnt? It's pretty burnt, but I think my dad likes it a little burnt anyway, so that's alright. Yeah, let's do it on this one. Feeling hot. Alright, it's the last pieces of salami. Not good, I guess. I wish I used less on some of the other sandwiches now. If I'd known, but oh well. If I'd known, I would have saved more, but oh well. Let's leave these 2 pieces of cheese, I guess. And 1 little slice of bread. What I'm trying to think of other like stupid government fucking bodies and shit. I mean, there's so many of them. Like, there's so fucking many of them. But I guess obviously these like ones that are predominantly female centric and quote unquote socially, social focused, such as DSS and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, that's another one, I guess. Since I was doing all that research and stuff with living and living wills and last wills and shit. Living wills and last wills and shit. Like the what do they call it? I think probably the more common term is like people just call it like the probate office or whatever. But whatever that office is like officially called, I'm positive that that has shit tons of corruption as well, and the same kind of bullshit. Like, they probably would go out of their way to fuck over the people that are just trying to deal with, the fact that they're potentially one of their family members just died and some shit, and now they have to deal with all the bullshit involved with that, the legal nonsense, which there probably really shouldn't even be that much legal nonsense, but of course that's how it works. I mean, just even the fact that there is there is all this stupid paperwork to have like wills and last wills and all this bullshit just like done and be like considered official and all that crap. and with all this confusing language that you are incentivized, or not incentivized, that you're like pretty much, at least supposedly, you're kind of required to fucking use, lest they use some bullshit to say, oh, well, you didn't define property correctly. You needed to say, like, therefore, or, like, whatever stupid fucking words. And, well, hopefully she doesn't want to use bread or anything, because I just used it all up. But, it's alright, I guess. It's funny, I could also make bread, but I don't think I want to make bread right this second. Maybe I will. I don't know. Probably not, but I'll see. Even the shit like these probate office and stuff like that, the entire process isn't something that is like, it's obviously not there to benefit the people, the people involved outside of the actual, like, government body or whatever. Now, I think that maybe those kind of departments, or whatever you call them, like those kind of bodies probably have less odds of having, like, sociopathic or antisocial kind of people and behaviors and incentives. But there's obviously still going to be corruption. But I would say that maybe it's just a little bit less likely, just because maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, what would they? I could see them doing stuff like this. Like, how would they be incentivized to do fucked up shit besides just for their own personal like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how would they? I mean, I'm sure that, like, if somebody knew more about this and had went through bullshit with, like, the probate office and, like, the estate nonsense and shit like that, I'm sure they could tell me just as many stories as someone like Billy or anybody else that's went through the social services and the domestic departments and stuff like that. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, how it seems to. At the end of the day, how it seems to make the most sense is obviously is to just do as much as possible to keep the government and these government bodies and departments outside of your outside of whatever you're dealing with. Like, just like cops, they almost never improve the situation. Say if you just have, like, a fender bender or some dumb shit, having the cops come, that almost never benefits, like, anybody, compared to it kind of, like, hurts the people. Like, I mean, the people that are trying to take advantage of stuff, they like that because that gives them more leverage later to potentially do stuff like frivolous lawsuits or whatever. Like, I'm not saying that there's no credence at all to, like, having somebody officially, quote unquote, officially, like, write down, like, this thing happened, that thing happened. But I think in most cases, it's worse for both parties to ever get the cops involved in that kind of thing, because they just kind of make it worse, or they just make it more dangerous or whatever. From what I've noticed, and the same can be said for any of these other government bodies. Like, it would be better if people could just not have any probate process or whatever, like probate process or whatever. If they just wanted to, if they knew that their kids, they could trust them, or whoever, the people that were going to inherit their shit, then not going through probate would be better, because the probate shit makes you supposedly, before any of this stuff goes to the beneficiaries, they first have to pay off any outstanding debts to any outstanding debts that the person had, and that doesn't benefit the beneficiaries. And I'm sure that the person that died and has the stuff to inherit would much prefer their stuff to go directly to their beneficiaries, their kids or whoever, their family, rather than these scumbag fucking debt, banks and other people or whatever. So it's obviously one of those things that the government is almost never in an individual's best interest. I'm not saying there's no situations ever where they are, but I think most of us here would obviously be able to say, like, yeah, the government never benefits the person. Like, they might make it, they're very deceptive. They might sweet talk and make it seem like they are benefiting people and stuff, and they're there just for that. And some people that work for these places might actually believe that. Maybe all of them believe that. But deep 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 down, when the brass tacks, um, deep down with the brass tacks, is that we see and we can obviously observe that that is not the case, and they are not there to benefit the people or whatever. If anything, they're there to benefit the the collective, the people and the creatures that are on the frequency and on the download. They're there for them. They're there for the bug people. They're not there, obviously, for individuals and stuff like that, like us. And even people that aren't necessarily awake, but people that are just like, maybe in more of the malaise before realizing how stuff works. They're not there to help them either. um, but yeah, I don't know what exactly I was trying to get at there, but just kind of musings about that after listening to Billy's thing. I was just like, I might as well just ramble on a little bit about my own experiences, a little bit about with involving government bodies and shit like that. And I mean, even not even government bodies, like especially these other like social services, quote unquote social services, like the fucking HR and stuff. Like HR departments, they're there for the company, they're there for the collective. I mean, obviously they're there for the company when you think about it, because it's like that's where they're being paid from. That they're paying them for a reason, not because it's some obligation, I guess, to have an HR department. They're there to benefit the company. The workers, they are a obstacle to be. That's why human resources. Like, how dehumanizing is that? To be called a resource. Like, right from the fucking name. Like, just to be called a resource, not a fucking. I don't know. That's just fucked up. That just shows you how little that these companies that have that kind of shit give a fuck about their workforce. They don't at all. It's just indentured servitude or whatever at the best. Indentured servitude in most cases, basically. But I finished making this up. I was gonna do some more stuff. Maybe I'll make a second video or a second recording or whatever. If I could think of something else to talk about while I'm doing the other stuff, like baking this cake that I want to make and baking those cookies that I made, the dough or whatever. But just for making these sandwiches, I think I said what I wanted to right now. So if I could think of anything else, I'll make another recording and possibly merge these together, but I'll see. But either way, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and take care.